What's up guys, Alex here, back with another requested video. We are in the middle of a bigger video project right now, so in the meantime, let's talk about some knives. The knives in particular are my 5 most carried knives of this year. Now, as a disclaimer, some of these knives were sent to me by the manufacturer, some I paid for, some of these were sent to me by friends, and some of these you can't even buy anymore. These are literally the knives that I've been carrying the most. I don't care what's in here because I got it for free. It's beautiful. Oh. Yeah. And that's it. There's the 5. The one was in my pocket. If the knives are available, I will link them below or the manufacturers for reference purposes.
Nice.
Now, first knife on the list in really no particular order is the WE Knives Speedster. Now, this knife was sent to me by Jared over at Neves Knives. This knife is as close to being a perfect production knife for me as it can get. It just has a super simple, clean design. The CPM 20CV blade steel gets absolutely laser sharp, which I like. The action, it's about as good as you can get from a production knife. It's thin, it sits in the pocket well, low profile, deep carry pocket clip. It just works for me. Now that being said, there are some things that I would change about this knife. Personally, I would like to see some jimping down here on the frame lock. It's just a touch slippery on the finger. See, they have this really nice texturing on the handle that would be great to add to the lock bar. Just adding a little bit of texturing can give a little bit more feel when actuating the lock bar. It's the little things. Now the next thing is that while I do like the flipper tab for opening, I would like to see a thumb stud version of this knife. Don't change anything other than do a flipper tab delete and put a thumb stud on it. Extend the choil area and this would be almost a perfect production knife for me. I'm a big fan of the WE Knives Speedster, and that's one of the reasons that it finds its way in my pocket more often than not. Thank you for sending me this, Jared. It's sweet.
Even though I had one of these cut me this year at Blade Show Atlanta, so I gave it away. It was unlucky.
Speaking of Neves Knives, now the next knife on the list is a knife that you've wanted me to review for a very long time now, and it is the Neves Knives Misdemeanor.
Bang, 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 bang.
Now this is a design by Jared over at Neves Knives, and it is OEM'd by Riat. Now I bought this knife to help support Jared with his first knife design, and I'll be honest, I didn't think that I would like this thing at first. Now out of the box, I really had trouble with its flipper tab opening. And you can't really thumb flick it, which is something that Jared himself told me. He literally told me that I probably wouldn't like this knife. However, after playing around with it for a period of time, I got better. The knife broke in really well, and the flipper tab action on this thing becomes almost second nature. However, the main reason that I bought this is because of the blade design. It is one of the thinnest, maybe the thinnest production folding blades that I have. Its K390 blade is hollow ground, extremely thin, and that's what makes it an amazing slicing machine. It just cuts, and that's what knives are supposed to do. This is a knife guy's knife, and Jared really put a lot of thought into the details on this thing. One of those being the jimping on the frame lock, which really adds to the function. It's the little things here in the knife world that makes the biggest difference. We could go on about all of these little things here, but the main takeaway is that this knife is just an amazing cutter, and that's why I like knives. And my biggest regret is actually not buying 2 because you can't get these anymore.
Now one complaint that I will make, and I told Jared this, is the jimping on the spine is just a touch slippery. The jimping on his newer model, the Offender, is way better and would be amazing on this design as well.
Now the next knife on the list is probably going to be obvious to some, and it is the new Worksharp RMX. Now this knife was given to me by Worksharp when I went to visit their facility this spring, and since then it has been in my pocket a lot, and I really like it. Now, if I didn't like it, you guys simply wouldn't be seeing it. It's literally that simple, and the same goes with all of these other knives. I would just pick other knives to show you. It's amazing! Now, some of the standout features for me on this knife that I like a lot is the weight. It's super light, but it's definitely not flimsy. And the weight factor makes a big difference, especially during the warmer summer months where you may not want a giant titanium pocket anchor weighing you down. Hot take, titanium is not light. Now, another standout feature is how easily this knife disassembles for cleaning. Now, I've had this thing soaking wet and covered in mud, which for some knives would be an afternoon to disassemble, clean, and reassemble. Not this thing, it disassembles super quickly, and you know, for a work knife, this is something that is often overlooked and, in my opinion, is super important. Now, we're not even going over the fact that this is one of the most innovative knife designs, maybe one of the most innovative knives, period, that's come out in a very, very long time. But there is one thing that I would like to see happen with this knife. This is a manual to auto conversion knife. That means that everything you need to convert this from a manual action to an automatic is included when you purchase this knife. Now, what this also means is that the button lock, due to it being a convertible design, locks the knife in the closed position, meaning that there's no detent. It physically locks closed, and you have to push the button in order to flip it open. Now, in my state, I can't carry auto knives due to the state and a lot of the stupid local laws. So to show you how dumb my state actually is, I can carry this completely legal because it folds. It's not auto. But I can't carry that. What you got there, Sonny? Hand it over. Oh yeah, this is no problem. What's that other thing? Let me see that. Oh, hey, get back here. I'm $27.90. I got a 1, 2, 3 switchblade. Hey. The auto feature isn't something that I use very often. And so I would prefer to have a non-locking detent version of this knife with a thumb stud. Now, this is a very minor complaint, and it really has more to do with the fidget factor than the actual function of the knife. But it would be cool to have a detent version of this knife. Now, the next knife on the list is sort of an outlier here, but it's also a knife that I wish I could carry more, but due to the ridiculous state and local laws, I can't. I'm gonna get you! These things are so dangerous. But I definitely would if I could, and I carry it all the time around the house, and it is the Big Idea Design Titanium Lookout. Now, this knife was sent to me to check out, and again, if I didn't like it, you simply wouldn't be seeing it. You'd be seeing another knife. It's that simple. Now, this is a fantastic little EDC fixed blade, and the one thing that really stood out to me with this knife is it takes an absolute razor sharp edge. It gets hair whittling super easy. It was for sure one of those things that stood out, like very noticeably so. So they did a really good job with the heat treatment, that is for sure. It's like, it'll do that like barely drying. I'm trying to not cut it. Cut it. See, it just keeps cutting it. It like won't whittle, it'll just go right through it. Now, another thing for me is how well this knife actually sits in the pocket. And you wouldn't think that would be the case for a pocket fixed blade, but for me it almost disappeared, and sometimes I forgot that I had it in there. And with that being said, it really doesn't get in the way of your hand in your pocket like even some folding knives do. So to have a fixed blade that you can carry in your pocket without taking up too much pocket space is quite an achievement, and it's one reason that every chance I get, this thing is in the pocket. Now, one area that I would address here is I wish the sheath would extend up a little bit farther towards the top of the pocket. Now, maybe there's a reason that they didn't do this in the first place that I'm overlooking. Okay, bad joke. Now I'm gonna charge you with making such a bad joke. But I think that if it could be done, it really would add to the resheathing process. Trying to index the sheath with the blade can sometimes be a small challenge. Now, this is definitely not a deal breaker for me though, and again, it may be my #1 pocket carry if the laws are slightly different here. I really do like carrying fixed blades, but I just can't carry them as much as I'd like, so this knife definitely makes the list for my carry knives of this year because I don't leave the house much. That's right, Sonny, crime doesn't pay. Now, last but not least here is a pretty new knife for me. that I've only been carrying for several weeks, but I think I may actually finish out the year with this thing because I most definitely wish I had this knife earlier. And it is the Squid Industries new folding knife, the Surf. Now this is another knife that was sent to me for feedback with no expectations, and again, if I didn't like it, you simply wouldn't be seeing it in this video. Now, if you didn't know, Squid Industries is essentially a balisong knife manufacturer, which will be important to remember in a second. Now this knife is an integral button lock at what I would think is a fairly reasonable price for what it is, because it has one of the smoothest actions that I have ever felt. It's literally amazing. I mean, listen to this. And you can tell it was designed and made by someone who likes to play with knives. Now this has fidget factor all day long, even if you're not one of those fidgety type of people. And this is coming from someone who generally doesn't care about fidget factor. But it's just that good. I mean, it's insane. Now, this is not a giant tank of a tactical knife. This knife is, I think, more for those with a more refined taste, and keeping things simple and clean is more of a focus point. Now, along those lines, I guess my one user complaint being a lefty is it's a non-reversible pocket clip. But with that being said, I do think that there's something about keeping the knife looking clean and specific by not having all of these extra features that only 10% of the population will use. And maybe another slight design complaint would actually be the blade shape. For me, maybe there's just a little bit too much belly in the blade for more regular use tip work. That being said, these are very minor complaints on a knife that is really amazing function-wise in all of the other areas. I like button locks, obviously, due to the ease of closing the knife, which is actually very important for me. Maybe not the strongest lock out there, but for what this knife is designed for, it's about as good as it gets. And there is some serious competition for pocket time with this knife laying around. I just want to carry it. Now, we could spend all day going over all of the features of every knife here, and we missed a lot of things about each one of these knives. Trust me, it gets deep. This is just a quick overview of the knives that I've really been drawn to this year. Now, some of these knives have some cool stories behind them, and they're all great companies. This is by no means an exclusive list since I do rotate out often, but out of my entire collection, these are the knives that I prefer carrying at this moment in time. I would like to know your top carry knives in the comments below. That really helps me find new things and figure out what is popular from the OGs in the comments. If you didn't know, I get a lot of my video ideas from you guys, so comment away and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. That's right, Sonny, crime doesn't pay. I'm the only one who can carry these. Get back here. All right, put your hands behind your back. You're going to jail for the world's smallest fixed blade. Fixed blade? 2190. I've got a perpetrator. It's not a switchblade in your pocket. Small, but deadly. All right, you're under arrest. Illegal is this part. This is the piece that I'm actually charging you with. And this carries a minimum sentence of 27 years under house arrest. Believe it or not.